You can find front hip pockets on any garment that has either a waistline seam or a waistline edge. Because of this pocket's natural cutout at the front, the top edge of this cutout has to fit into some type of seam. The front hip pocket application you'll see today is very similar to the one used on conventional jeans, but a lot less complicated. We'll keep the pocket pieces to a minimum so you can really understand the structure, the alignment, and really the sewing process of this unique pocket application. Front hip pocket opening extends from the waist down to a seam, usually the side seam. The basic pocket pieces needed for sewing a front hip application include a facing and a pocket layer. The facing is used to finish the top, usually curved pocket opening edge. The pocket piece connects to the garment at the waist and blends into the pocket bag as it moves to the inside of the pocket. The facing and pocket piece form the body of the pocket bag while also finishing the pocket opening edges. The good news about sewing front hip pockets is that all pattern pieces are provided in your pattern set. You won't have to do any measuring or pattern drafting unless you choose to make your patterns from scratch. Cut out the facing and pocket pieces. You can use a different fabric for the facing, but the pocket piece is conventionally the same as the garment. The pocket piece should have two distinct notches, one located along the waist edge and the other on the side seam. These notches will provide important markers for aligning the facing to the pocket piece underneath. Before putting the pocket pieces together, back the top front edge with interfacing. Use the front garment patterns or fabric pieces to cut interfacing portions that are about 1.5 inches in width. These interfacing pieces will reinforce the top edge of the pocket opening. Fuse the interfacing to the wrong side of the front garment, aligning it to the curved edge of the pocket opening. Align the curved facing edge to the garment edge such that the fabric face sides are touching. Insert pins perpendicular to the curved edges to secure the fabric layers. If you are a sewing beginner, it may be helpful to hand baste the curved edges together. Stitch the facing to the garment edge at the designated seam allowance. In this case, the seam allowance is 1/2 inch. Trim the seam allowance down to 1/4 inch and clip wedge notches along the most curved portion of the seam. Extend the facing and seam allowances away from the garment and iron the seam in this position. Be careful not to wrinkle the fabric in this process. Understitch the facing edge and seam allowance underneath next to the seam line as shown. This stitch will keep the finished pocket edge laying flat and prevent the facing from rolling to the outside of the pocket opening. Bring the facing to the wrong side of the garment and iron the finished edge flat. Place the finished curved pocket edge on top of the pocket piece such that the fabric right sides are touching. The waistline notch should align with the top of the finished pocket edge. The notch located on the side of the pocket piece should align with the bottom or horizontal pocket edge. Flip the pocket application on its wrong side and insert pins through the matching pocket and facing layers. Insert the pins perpendicular to the two edges for extra stability. Stitch the side and bottom edges to seal the pocket bag. Apply an overage stitch to the pocket back seam allowance to enclose its raw edges. To secure the pocket application, insert pins perpendicularly through all pocket layers at the side seam and waistline edges. Machine stitch within the seam allowance to secure the layers. This additional stitching will keep all edges properly aligned while the garment goes through the remaining construction process.